सपनों को दो नई उड़ान, पार्थ आईएएस है तुम्हारे साथ। मेहनत को मिले सही दिशा, यहीं से खुलता सफलता का रास्ता। पार्थ आईएएस एकेडमी, हर मंजिल की तैयारी। पार्थ आईएएस एकेडमी, सफलता की जिम्मेदारी। यूपीएससी हो या एसएससी, हर सपना होगा अब इजी। पार्थ आईएएस is always here.
So today's topic of presentation is the end of bipolarity. In this topic, we will understand 360 degree that how at the end of 20th century the world politics change. For almost 4 decades after the World War II, the world was divided into two powerful blocs, the USA and the USSR. These are the countries of NATO aligned: France, Spain, Britain, and West Germany, Italy. And another powerful bloc is USSR, Moscow, this Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. But there was a drastic change in 1991 that the disintegration of Soviet Union and the world politics changed. And at the end of this topic, we will understand that how this disintegration and historical event impacted the foreign policy of India. So after the disintegration of Soviet Union, it is fragmented into different countries. These are the Baltic republics: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Lithuania is the first country that get their freedom from the USSR. Then major republics are Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. Then Central Asian countries are Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. So the Berlin Wall marked the unification of Germany and the beginning of the end of the communist bloc. It was built in 1961 and it was 150 km long and stood for 28 years. But on 9th November 1989, it was broke by the peoples of Germany. This is how it looks like. And the important leaders of the Soviet Union, first of all, Vladimir Lenin. He was the founder of Bolshevik Communist Party and the head of the USSR, and he led the revolution, socialist revolution in USSR during the time period of 1919 and 1924. He was also the practitioner of Marxism and a source of inspiration of communism all over the world. After that, Joseph Stalin, he led the Soviet Union after the consolidation in 1924 to 1952, and under his leadership there was a focus on the collectivization of agriculture, and he was also credited for the Soviet victory in Second World War. Another important leader is Nikita Khrushchev. He was introduced some reforms in 1956 and also gave importance on the peaceful coexistence with the West, and suppressed the rebellion in Hungary and Cuban Missile Crisis. Leonid Brezhnev, he was the leader of Soviet Union in 1964 to 1982, and he suppressed the rebellion in Afghanistan and Czechoslovakia. Mikhail Gorbachev, last leader of Soviet Union, 1985 to 1991, his time period, and introduced political as well as economical reforms in Soviet Union, perestroika, reconstructing, and glasnost openness. He was blamed for the disintegration of Soviet Union and the Cold War. And the last important leader of the Soviet Union is Boris Yeltsin. He was the first elected president of Russia, 1991 to 1999. He was made the mayor of Moscow by Gorbachev, but later he joined the critics of Gorbachev and protest against the Soviet regime in 1991, and later became the president of Russia. So what was the Soviet system? Basically, the Soviet system was started by the socialist revolution, that is based on the ideals of socialism and opposed to capitalism and the private property, and give primacy in the political system to the state, and it is centered around the Communist Party, and similarly in the economic system also it is controlled and planned by the state. Now we will see some merits and demerits of Soviet system as well as their stagnation reasons. The merits of Soviet system is that it became the great power after the World War II, after the most developed country USA, and the complex communication network is one of the importance of Soviet system. They have the huge energy resources as well as the transport complex network. They are also very good in their manufacturing sector. They indigenously build from pin to car everything, but the quality does not match like with the East. And they also Soviet system also gives subsidy on the basic things like health, education, and childcare, and the unemployment is negligible because everything is held by the government of Soviet Union. The demerits of the Soviet system are that the government was bureaucratic, authoritarian, and the lack of democracy. The citizens do not have the freedom of speech and expression. They are unaccountable to the people, and the 15 different republics, those who are Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, and Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan, they feel depressed, or they feel dominated by the Russia, because everything is dominated by the Russia only. So this is the demerits of the Soviet Union system. Now the reasons why the Soviet Union system became stagnant are, first of all, the Soviet system lagged behind in the technological advancement with the West, and they are unable to fulfill the economic aspirations of the citizens, as well as they have invested a lot in the invasions like Afghanistan in 1979. So they have huge economic burden, and as well as the consumer goods were shortage and the food imports increase year-wise. So that's why the economy of Soviet system stagnated in late 1970s. The Gorbachev and the disintegration, an important topic because he was the reason by which the Soviet system later disintegrated. So he became the General Secretary of Communist Party in 1985 and introduced political as well as economic reforms, perestroika, reconstructing, and glasnost openness. So there are the Communist Party hardliners who were against their reforms. So they planned a coup in 1991 and to seek the freedom, and they will succeed. And later the Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, the major republics, announced the disintegration of USSR in December 1991 and adopted the capitalism and democracy as the basis of post-Soviet republics. After the disintegration of Soviet system, the Central Commonwealth of Independent States was formed, and Russia was accepted as the successor state of Soviet Union. It had also accepted all the international treaties and commitments of the Soviet Union, and also started the nuclear disarmament measures with the USA. And the old Soviet Union system was dead and buried. This slide shows the reasons behind the disintegration of Soviet Union. Some major reasons: first of all, the economic stagnation, expenses on military aspects, awareness of people, stagnation in an administration and political sense, role of Gorbachev, the rise of nationalism and the desire of sovereignty, and desire to get rid of backward central republics. In more detail, we will discuss about these reasons. First of all, economic stagnations. The internal weakness and the economic institutions were unable to fulfill the aspirations of the people, and there was a severe shortage in the consumer goods. So led to the economic stagnations and the economic falls of Soviet Union. Second reason is the expenses on military aspects. As Soviet Union has invaded in Afghanistan and other regions, they have to pay a lot of cost in military aspects, and they also have to maintain the arm race with USA, military arsenals, and also develop the satellites in the Eastern Europe states. This led to the huge economic burden for the Soviet Union. Another reason was awareness of people. The citizens were gradually aware by the advancement in the West. They were told that the Soviet system is better than the US system, but honestly, the Soviet system was really backward than the Western system. So the people get aware about it, and then demanding their freedom of expression and speech. Stagnation in an administration and political sense. The Communist Party became more corrupted and not accountable to the people, and the bureaucrats were gaining the more privileges, and they were misusing those privileges. The important role of Gorbachev in the disintegration of USSR. So he expected that now the disintegration is impossible to control, and that's what happened. Different sections of Soviet society have different perspectives for the reforms that he introduced. Some thought that it is much faster and benefited not the way it have to, or they are very slowly benefiting. Another section have the thought that the power and privileges through these reforms were eroding. So at the last, Gorbachev had lost all the supports from all the sides and divided the public opinion. The rise of nationalism and the desire for sovereignty. Within the various republics like Russia and Baltic regions, there was a different perspective for the disintegration of USSR, different reasons why they want to separate from each other. First reason that the size and diversity within the Soviet system is very huge, so the nationalist feeling is also very much from different reasons. And this nationalist dissatisfaction was intensified and speeded up by the Gorbachev reforms. And desired to get rid of backward center republics. So it was thought that the Central Asian countries national dissatisfaction is more because they were regional difference and economic backwards. But originally there was the Baltic regions and the European countries were strongly have the nationalist dissatisfaction because they were thinking that they have to pay a lot to keep the economically backward Central Asian countries within the system. The consequences of the disintegration of Soviet Union, there were some reasons. First of all, the most important consequences is the end of the Cold War confrontation, because the arm race which was going on, the accumulation of nuclear weapons, all have ended, and the ideological disputes that have all ended. Then second reason is the world politics change. The ideological dispute they have and the superpower, who was the superpower, this was the competition between both of them. Now it was ended and the world was shaping into multipolar. And the third consequences is that the Soviet bloc meant the emergence of many new countries. As it was disintegrated, Baltic and the European countries joined NATO, and the other Central Asian countries have good relation with Russia as well as the West. So it was a balanced kind of approach. Another important topic is shock therapy in the post-communist regime. Some important features of shock therapy are: it is authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system, and private ownership as well as external orientation is giving the primacy. The collapse of communism was followed in most of the countries, painful process and the sudden process of transition from a socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. This is called as a shock therapy, and it is influenced and supported by the World Bank and IMF.
second, this second way. What
It was influenced.
of transition measures and relation issue that was influenced by the political environment came to be known as
Shock therapy.
What means?
So it was a sudden transition from a socialist system to a capitalist system, and it was supported by World Bank and IMF. So it is called as a shock therapy for the Russia and Soviet countries. So in the beginning of the Soviet system, there was a state-owned ownership, and everything is controlled by the state, whether it is political or economic sphere. But now the primacy or the dominant pattern of ownership of property was the private ownership, and state assets as well as corporate assets, everything was privatized, and the collective farming is also replaced by the private farming.
How important details are. See, let's explaining the difference between capitalism and socialism. Model of capital model and socialism model. And only economy, socialist economy, capitalism. So the very important and very important to understand this capital economy and socialist economy as well. Finally, look at this chapter. This is very important. Is this slide?
So initially it was a socialist pattern where everything, whether political system or the economical system, everything is controlled by the state in the Soviet system.
To the PSU?
Yes. Yes. But now the pattern of ownership was in the hand of private owners. And
in terms of capital economy.
yes,
So this was the transition period. Right? Yes.
yes. And the state assets as well as corporate assets, everything were immediately brought in the hand of privatization.
Then collective farming.
Yes.
Collective farming means the individuals have no right on land. In India, things are opposite. Earlier we were having fundamental right of
Right to property.
In Article
32.
31.
31. Sorry.
And we were follower of Russia. But Russia don't give personal rights to own the property. See, the Indian Constitution is adopting socialist approach. Indian Constitution is adopting socialist approach. But wherever is required, the individual rights is also respected. Whereas in Russia, you see the presentation of Russia, the individual rights are not there. We don't have any rights over land and all that. They are in collective farming. Means the entire land belongs to the country. That is called collective farming. Yes, very nice. Collective farms were to be replaced by private farming. Yes, yes. The third one is
The transition ruled out any alternate or third way other than state-controlled socialism and capitalism. So it is a third way, mixed approach.
yes.
And the last feature of the shock therapy is the external orientation. In the Soviet system, everything is indigenously built from car to pin, but now it was allowing the free trade with other countries and allowing the foreign direct investment and openness to the foreign investment in the country, and the currency convertibility is also allowed.
Currency convertibility is a major issue. Even still, India has not allowed currency convertibility holistically. We have allowed currency convertibility in capital amount or current amount. It is current amount, not capital. Currency conversion is a very important issue. Currency conversion means daily conversion currency from one country to another. Right? So we have not allowed it yet on right? And we have allowed in one sector freely. Current amount and the capital amount convertibility after certain norms. Yes, correct.
And the last one is that every state have the power to link directly with the West and not only restrict within the region. India and the post-communist countries. Now there was a relation between the Soviet Union and India. So with the Soviet Union, India have cordial relation, and after the disintegration, it had the strongest relation with the Russia. There were some reasons behind it. First of all, they both share a common vision of multipolar world, and both have benefited in with each other in different reasons. First of all, India benefited on the issue of Kashmir, energy supply and access to Central Asia, and balancing its relation with China.
Very nice. Very nice. India-Russia relations, Indian and Russian relations, very good for India. Energy crisis, Kashmir issues, balancing with China and Central Asia. Very much. यही वो aspect है रशिया हम वैल्यू देता है. Therefore, they are giving importance to Russia. Yes.
And the Russia benefited from India because India is the second largest arm market for the Russia, and both have collaborated on many scientific projects.
Means practically crude oil को छोड़ दें, crude oil purchase को छोड़ दें, तो Russia is getting less from India. Only we are purchasing crude. That is why Russia is getting benefit from India as an economy. Otherwise, Russia is not getting any benefit in the strategic field or geopolitical etc. Anywhere, because Russia itself is having the relation with China, he don't want to maintain relation with the US with itself. But India is getting more benefit in strategic way, political way, international way, we don't want to maintain relation with this. Yes, yes.
During the Cold War era, India and the USSR enjoy multi-dimensional relation in the field of economic, political as well as military. In the economic field, the Soviet Union assisted India in the public sector companies and also gave assistance in the technical perspective, like in steel plants in Bhilai, Bokaro, Visakhapatnam, and the machine plants like Bharat Heavy Electronics.
Hey, and steel plants, steel plants, Bokaro
and Soviet Union accepted Indian currency when there was a short in Indian foreign exchange. In the field of political relation of India and Soviet Union supported India's position on Kashmir issue in the UN, and also supported during the major conflicts like Pakistan in 1971. India received most of its military hardware from Russia, so Russia has benefited from that. Soviet Union has benefited, and they also produce jointly many military equipments. BrahMos is example, S-400.
BrahMos, S-400. Now we rifles,
Cultural perspective, that Indian Hindi films and Indian culture is very popular in Soviet Union. So it is in culture perspective why they have the good relations.
Can you give the name of the film star who was very much popular in this?
Raj Kapoor.
Raj Kapoor. And Raj Kapoor is reciprocated. In Raj Kapoor's movie, you will see the Russian artist. Right?
So these are some questions which you will recall what we have learned in this chapter.
Yes.
First question is, the country that gave the aid and technical assistance for steel plants in India is USSR. The most severe conflict took place in the Balkan Republic of Yugoslavia.
Just
Yes.
the more important very important is answer. Yugoslavia, you are not able to understand what is the Yugoslavia, why they are actually there. Can anyone explain what is the importance of this question? You have not even yet heard anything about this Yugoslavia, right? Yes, you have not heard about Yugoslavia. What was this Yugoslavia crisis? It was the time of last century, last decade of 20th century. When the crisis was there, kindly repeat the questions.
The most severe conflict took place in the Balkan Republic.
You are hearing first time. We will discuss. We will discuss this issue. In international relation, if you want to understand this Balkan plan. Balkan, we say कि 1947 में Mountbatten has introduced Balkan plan. Yes, you are correct. Balkan. What is actual Balkan? What is the actual problem of Balkan? Balkan is the reason for first and second world war. The only reason which you can represent is Balkan region. This is the cause of first and second world war. And after World War also this Balkan region, Yugoslavia crisis, it is written here, the most severe conflict took place in Balkan region, Yugoslavia. After 1991, yes.
And-
Yes.
Mhm.
It broke apart with yes.
After 1991, it broke apart several provinces like Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, declaring independence.
We will learn these things thoroughly. Without this, we can't understand the European Scandinavian politics. इसके आप जब तक we will not understand this non-Balkan regions, Balkan regions politics, we will not be following to understand European politics. Right? Yes, continue. Very important.
Yes. And Yugoslavia is one of the founding members of non-alignment movement.
Yes, Yugoslavia is one of the founding members of non-alignment. Is correct. Who was that time leader of Yugoslavia?
मुझे पता है.
Mr. Nehru, Mr. Tito, Marcel Tito, and the third name is that time the Yugoslavia president of Yugoslavia was Marcel Tito. Where was the first meeting of non-alignment government? It was in the Yugoslavia, capital of Yugoslavia, Belgrade. At that time, the Belgrade was the capital of Yugoslavia. And it was the name Marcel Tito, Colonel Nasser, and Jawaharlal Nehru. That was at that time president was Marcel Tito. Correct? Yes. Yes, it's very nice. Good information. Non-alignment movement. Yes.
The Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in the year of
1970.
1979,
ठीक है.
which was the first Soviet republic to declare its independence from Soviet Russia.
ये बहुत important question. Lithuania and then Baltic Committee, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Who joined was NATO?
Latvia.
Who joined? Kindly find out. Later on you will find out. Which country joined first? NATO, right? Yes, next.
Which reform introduced by Mikhail Gorbachev aimed primarily at
This was
reconstructing
at our time when we were writing UPSC maths exam. This was the question is next. The glasnost and perovskita. And we studied physically. The glasnost and perovskita. West Germany. First, yes. And the second? Yes.
which reform introduced by Mikhail Gorbachev aimed primarily at restructuring the Soviet economy.
Now, glasnost and perovskita. Perovskita is related with economy and glasnost is related with self-realization. Correct.
The term shock therapy in the post-Soviet state referred to rapid transition from the socialist to capitalist economy. Which of the following republic was not part of the Baltic state that separated from the Soviet Union?
So, Baltic countries.
Estonia.
Correct. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and the Ukraine is
Not part.
not. Yes.
The Commonwealth of Independent States was formed mainly by the former Soviet republics.
Try to understand is this CIS diplomacy UPSC last year mentioned good continuous year three question appeared on maths CIS DISCOM Central Asian Country. This is named the Commonwealth.
Independent States.
Commonwealth Independent States. These five are the Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan, what are the names? Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and
Turkmenistan.
and two others are Azerbaijan and
Kyrgyzstan.
Azerbaijan and another
Kyrgyzstan.
country अभी Georgia. Azerbaijan and Georgia. Correct. Yes, 7.
Which of the following was not a major cause of Soviet Union disintegration? Strong democratic institution.
Very nice.
Which country emerged as the successor state of the Soviet Union after its dissolution?
Yes.
Answer is Russia.
Yes, correct.
The Cold War rivalry primarily existed between United States and Soviet Union. Which policy allowed it great freedom of expression and transparency in the Soviet Union? It is glasnost.
Glass. Understand glasnost and perovskita, these are the Russian words. One is meant for democracy, another is meant for open economy. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us have a question. The purpose of this presentation is the asking question. Why? It is the asking question to make you confidence that your examination is going to be 100%. 100% right. These question answer session must be there. At least 2-3 questions must be asked. Question may be any general question, intelligent question may be any kind. कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं बोर्ड वाले. So you can ask anything. Candidates are there, and you can ask any question. But the answer will be perfect, right? On that subject. So yes, you can ask. See, first chairman asked, then he passed to the member. Kindly ask. So let me ask this question. Tell me the instrument of Cold War. What was the instrument of Cold War? See, in direct war we use missiles, we use guns, tanks. So what was the instruments and weapon of the Cold War? What were the instruments and weapon of Cold War? Diplomacy, right? And behind meetings and
the military pacts they were forming.
military pacts, correct? And ideology conflictions, and these were the instruments. Directly, it was not direct war. It is mentioned as war, but it was not direct war.
It is proxy.
Yes, it was the proxy war. Yes, right? How to win others? By diplomacy, by this conventional invasion. These were the correct. Yes. Yes, you can ask. Yes, pass. Now ask. It is mandatory to ask the question. At least one question is asked. Now, usually candidates are here. You can't say, no, you go, you pass, you need to add. But once it's happened, the candidate again interview, and the chairman interview them. Later on, the comes to the next, you pass to the next number, you can be asked. So, member said, oh, your performance is very nice, and you are orally intelligent from since 10 to postmaster, and you have showed this tremendous marks in exam. So why your direct interest should not be allowed? What is the legal? He asked the question. Candidate, right? Right. So you cannot pass the question. Yes, you have to ask the question. Anything? But quick. Anything you ask. Anything you ask. You can ask the present situations of Baltic regions. Why it is so important in European diplomacy, international diplomacy. You can ask. These are the very important questions. The Baltic regions. Yes. You can ask the Russian-Ukraine conflicts. What are the issues of the Russian-Ukraine conflict? Are these issues related with the disintegration of USSR? You can ask this question. Are the root cause of the Russian-Ukraine conflicts are in the disintegration of USSR? Yes, Mia is asking. Yes, I am asking on behalf of you. You can ask this. This is good question. This will clear your Russia-Ukraine conflicts. Yes. Now I am asking on behalf of Mia. Is the root cause of the Russian-Ukraine conflicts are in disintegration of USSR?
So again, can you repeat the question?
Does the root cause of the Russia and Ukraine conflicts is in the disintegration of USSR?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Why? Explain.
Because Ukraine is one of the major republics. Yes,
Yeah.
and there was the minerals of Ukraine that is in the part.
Right. Well, yes, correct answer. Yes.
So,
The mineral dominated area of Ukraine, earlier this was the part of USSR. When the Ukraine became separate from the USSR donate to Ukraine, you kindly keep it with you. And you will have good relations in future. Later on, Ukraine becomes a member of NATO. Then the USSR realized what happened. We gave our region to Ukraine and now Ukraine is a part of NATO. Therefore, they are. This is in a hard scheme. The region which Russia is claiming earlier originally belongs to us. At that time of it. Understand this thing? Therefore, Russia is demanding you kindly give this region to us back. Suppose we were friends. Earlier we were friends. And I give something for a security or some gift to you that okay, we will be friends. See, we are living in a room. We are living in a same apartment. Later on, you say, we cannot live in the same apartment. I am going to purchase a separate building. So, okay, fine. We can purchase a nearby building and we will always be our friend. And if I will take it from us also, we will be happy working with us. Right? Later on, you agree or you enter an agreement with the enemy. What would be my situation? I will see, okay, I will see you. I will see you. The same things are happening. Now they are saying to Ukraine, now I will see you. You gave them. I gave you gift. And you are a party of my enemy. Right? So now you identify what are the places which are Russia is claiming Ukraine, you finally recognize which are the places. You can tell us. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. Any other question you want to ask? No. Okay. From tomorrow you should be prepared. Like at least one question must be asked. At least. See, this is a preparation of it, and the perfect preparation. This is the perfect preparation. Whenever you left there, you will be so relaxed. कैसे 50 क्वेश्चन का आंसर दो एग्जाम में आप सबके एक बार you will so confident, so perfectly you क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले इन सब का आंसर तो नहीं देगा क्या देगा so this is our you will do everything ठीक है very nice very happy thank you very much
ठीक है, now it is your test.